Hey guys, Ryan here from the Fed. I know the quality is not the best, but I'll try to do with what I have. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the Rangers today. The Range game is going on right now. They're down 4-1 against Tampa Bay Lightning. Um, the offensive line pairings. Panarin's with Strowman and Kreider. They switched Kreider and Jesper Fast for this game. I don't know why. Probably try to get a little bit of more speed on that second line along with Hedel and Buchnevich. Lemieux, Howden, and McKegg together. They moved McKegg up, considering that Capo Caco is now out of this game currently. I wasn't watching the first period, didn't explain why Caco's out, maybe an injury, I don't know, maybe he's just a healthy scratch tonight. And also the fourth line, Lias Andersson, Michael Haley, and Brendan Smith. The defensive pairings are still the same. Libor Hayek is still with Jacob Trouba. Brady Shea's with Tony DeAngelo. And Ryan Lindgren, is with Adam Fox. Alexander Gorgiev started in goal tonight, but he was replaced by Henrik Lundqvist. He gave up, I think, 4 goals on 8 shots, something like that. And since then, Lundqvist has been absolutely phenomenal. I think he's blocked already, a solid 10. Since then, it's only the beginning of the second period. I could be wrong, but he's played very well. Chris Kreider is the only one with a Ranger goal right now. So we'll see where it goes from here. And yeah, some of my thoughts on the Ranger season so far. I know it's still a rebuild. Do I think we could maybe get into the playoffs as a second wild card? Yeah, I think we have the talent on this team. We got a lot of young talent. I think the Rangers are the 3rd youngest team in the NHL. I believe if you take Lundqvist and Michael Haley off of the team, we actually do have the youngest team, regardless, disregarding Lundqvist and Michael Haley. And considering Michael Haley is usually a healthy scratch on this team, for most of the season so far. Lundqvist is the only guy, I think, over the age of, I think Lundqvist is 35, 36, so I would say over the age of 34. I think Michael Haley's around that age too. But yeah. Hopefully soon, Mika Zibanejad comes back. I know, obviously there's not enough goal scoring, not enough speed on this team right now. And even the games that we do win and lose, they're absolute heartbreakers. A lot of the past 2 seasons, considering Lundqvist is getting up there in age, and Gorgiev maybe is the answer. I don't know. They're probably gonna have to bring in Shesterkin next year, because I don't see Gorgiev staying at the end of the season. I remember a time, 4 seasons ago, where we were loaded at the goalie position. We had Lundqvist, we had Talbot, we had all these promising guys in Hellberg and Skapsky, and we just were absolutely loaded. And then Talbot went to Edmonton, and Skapsky, it never worked out, and Hellberg, I think he just up and stayed in the AHL for the longest time, so what are you going to do there? But yeah, hopefully soon, Zibanejad comes back from injury. Kako hopefully comes back in the lineup, because honestly, having guys like Michael Haley and McKegg, or even Brendan Smith. Brendan Smith should be an every other night type of guy. He's not all that consistent. Hell, he was a freaking defenseman last year, and now all of a sudden he's a forward, because he likes to push the puck up and down the ice so much that they just up and slotted him into that 4th line right winger position. And yeah, that's great and all, but you need real defensemen playing back there, and you need a real forward playing at that position. You need Zibanejad being on that first line so he could slide some guys down, so Foss doesn't have to play on a second line. He could improve a 3rd or 4th line with speed and stuff like that. And also, just going through some stats over here, Panarin and Ryan Strome are the only 2, I think, averaging a point per game right now. I understand it's very early in the season still, only 16 games in. We got 18 points. We're only, what? I don't want to mention playoffs, but we're 4 points out of the playoffs, and the Metropolitan Division is very competitive. even though the Devils and Blue Jackets are behind us, they're gonna find ways to beat us or beat a Penguins team without Sidney Crosby currently, or like an Islander team that, even though is red hot right now, they'll find a way to beat them eventually. They'll take one from the Caps now and then, but yeah, it's just right now they need to start getting their top line guys more scoring chances. That's what it comes down to right now. Also, being in the penalty box hasn't been a tremendous problem this season. But when you got a guy like Brendan Lemieux that loves to get rough with other guys, I mean, Tanner Glass just a couple years back was the same way, and I'm glad we have a guy that wants to, rough guys up and shit like that. But then, a game like tonight where you're facing a strong team like the Tampa Bay Lightning, they're gonna score on power plays. I think they're I don't know if I think they're like 2 of 3 tonight, 2 of 4. Something like that, and it's only halfway through the second period, so they need to get more disciplined. Hell, the Lightning are on a power play right now in this game, and they need to be more disciplined. I'm gonna watch the rest of this play out right now, and Tampa scored, and now it's 5-1 Tampa Bay, just like that. Steven Stamkos just slams one. Well, this is panning out to be just another tough outing for the Rangers, getting absolutely demolished by Tampa. It's 6-1 now. Pat Maroon putting one in on a breakaway. But, it's times like these where you wish you had a better defense. Defense has always been the problem with the Rangers. I don't think it will never not be a problem with the Rangers, but right now we have a younger defense now, and we're still having the same problem. So I don't know how David Quinn can address this, but it's difficult when you got a goalie like Henrik Lundqvist and his defense just never backs him up. I understand you could say, oh, the goals are still going in, it's still his fault they're going in, but when you have no help back there, it kind of takes a toll on you after a while. But yeah, so that's that when it comes to the defense. I know there's also been trade rumors about Lias Andersson floating around, but why would you want to trade one of your young guys that you got in the draft just a few years ago? I don't see how that helps the team. Especially when now we're in like a rebuild and like a retool, I guess you could say. Not really. Like, even though we're playing competitive hockey and we're like right there with the rest of the Metropolitan Division, like trying to get that second wild card spot, we're still in a rebuild. We're not in win now mode anymore. That was 2013 through 2016. That's not Rangers hockey anymore right now. So I think a lot of fans got to start getting that in their heads, that why would you trade Lias Andersson, who's probably going to end up being a star along with Hedl and Kakko and Buchnevich on this team someday? Why would you want to ruin that? I know there's also been trade rumors about Lias Andersson floating around, but why would you want to trade one of your young guys that you got in the draft just a few years ago? I don't see how that helps the team. Especially when now we're in like a rebuild and like a retool, I guess you could say. Not really. Like, even though we're playing competitive hockey and we're like right there with the rest of the Metropolitan Division, like trying to get that second wild card spot, we're still in a rebuild. We're not in win now mode anymore. That was 2013 through 2016. That's not Rangers hockey anymore right now. So I think a lot of fans got to start getting that in their heads, that why would you trade Lias Andersson, who's probably going to end up being a star along with Hedl and Kakko and Buchnevich on this team someday? Why would you want to ruin that? It's just not what you set up as a base for a successful hockey team. You want to start from the bottom up, and that's what this team is starting to do now. And I think David Quinn, the coach David Quinn, understands that. But you got to make better decisions, like line-wise, and trying to generate scoring chances when you're facing a team like Tampa right now. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on the season so far, and I hope to give you guys a little more insight on that, and hopefully I can come out with a couple videos on the net soon. the Jets, even though their season has been absolutely terrible so far, and the Mets when baseball eventually rolls around in a few months. Hell, I'll even give some of my off-season thoughts. But yeah, thanks guys. Ryan from the Fed here, and that has been my my outlook on Rangers hockey.